Good morning, everyone, and welcome back to Coffee and Headlines, our daily get-together live here on Facebook every day of the week at 10:30 in the morning, where we exchange headlines, comments, topics, suggestions, ideas, and all kinds of thoughts as to how to best enjoy our lives here in Puerto Vallarta as a community of English-speaking locals. It is always a pleasure to meet you and to see you here this morning and every other morning. And if this is the first time that you join us, my name is Paco, and we'd love to welcome you. And we can do that if you write the word new in your comment. We also invite you to put the letter Q before any important questions that you may want to share with us today so that we can address them properly. If we don't get to them during the broadcast, we get to them shortly after the broadcast when we're looking at the comments that everybody leaves. And it's such a pleasure to see that you are always so chatty and there's always so much conversation and so much interaction. I love that from getting together every morning with you. We start, as always, by saying hello to some of our regular friends that are always joining us. David is in the house. Linda is in the house. Rod says, good morning, fellow hermits. I am definitely guilty as charged. I am definitely a hermit. I enjoy having the blessing and the pleasure and the privilege of working from home for the most part. And this pandemic has made me become, both a hermit and a caveman. That's absolutely certain. Alan Shepard, ¿qué hay? ¿Qué hay? ¿Qué pasa? It's great to see you. Chicago's in the house. It's great to see you as well. Portland is in the house. Andrea Levi Kasonovic. New guy here. Welcome to Coffee and Headlines. I see a nice little kitty in your photograph. We are kitty lovers here. Of course, my assistant is a kitty. Her name is Luna. And she's not joining me today. She is out in the bedroom. Well, not out. She's over there in the bedroom, keeping the bed warm. But it's great that you're joining us. I hope you find what you're looking for here. Sly asks, does anyone have the app to download or view our new peso bills? I don't know of such an app, but I do know that the Banco de Mexico has a website. And in the Banco de Mexico, let me very quickly see if I can find the website for them. Let me type this onto the screen so that you can see where you should go. And it's called www. Hold on just a second. Banxico.org.mx. I think we can do that just like that. This is, let me put it up here so that I can continue conversing with you. This is the website where you can go. This is the official Bank of Mexico website. They have all our currency on display, and you can definitely see what the new peso bills look like. Oh my God, I took that away so quickly. That's not very nice. I'm going to leave it there for a second. Let's see what else. It is Thursday. December 10th. I don't know about you. I'm starting to feel a little festive. I've been listening to Classic FM. It's an internet radio station. It broadcasts from England. And it is a wonderful station because they have light classical music. And they also have wonderful holiday music this time of year. So that's been my background music as I work here in the house. Today we are going to have a little bit of every. Oh, Michael says Buenos dias, Mambo style. I certainly hope you enjoyed our weird song of the day from yesterday, the wonderful Ima Sumac going ha 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 left and right. I bet it became an earworm and you started making strange sounds like she does, and I bet you scared some of your friends and loved ones. Um, Den says, thank you so very much for the video walk yesterday. Thank you. You know, we got so much wonderful feedback from yesterday's video, and probably the best feedback that we could have gotten came from this. That came from one member of our cluster. I got this note from someone saying, Paco, your walking tour on the Malecon has inspired my 76-year young mom to visit from Wales. I don't think it gets better than that. I really don't. So I'm very, very grateful for the fact that you enjoyed it. And we're going to continue doing this. Oh my God. I've been found. By any chance, did you live on Lamartine Street in Jamaica Plain? Yes, that was me. Mark, if we go back, I'm not remembering you, but fresh in my memory. Did we have good sex? I can't believe I said that. Yes, I lived on Lamartine Street in Jamaica Plain. And in fact, I showed a photograph of that home a couple of days ago. You piqued my curiosity, but I'm going to let you be. While we continue with the broadcast, let me see what we have. We have important news, and we have some silly news. And we have to get into a conversation that we're going to have about buying furniture here in Puerto Vallarta versus buying furniture and shipping it from north of the border. This comes as a result of somebody asking about this, but let me not go there just yet. Let me start with our news, and then we'll take it from there. So yesterday, we're halfway through the walking tour, and as we're doing that, I got the news that Canada has approved the Pfizer vaccine. This happened yesterday, and it is expected that they will start receiving 249,000 doses in the next few days. This is really, really good news for Canada. And of course, we know that the United States is supposed to clear the same vaccine today, which means that the vaccine is also going to be cleared here in Mexico. And we already know about Mexico's strategy to deploy the vaccine over the next few months and into 2022. So this is great news for Canada. I hope that the approval process is just as smooth in the United States, so that we can all start benefiting from the vaccine. I also wanted, this is really important. If you are living in Mexico and because of the pandemic or whatever reason, you are working from home, Mexico has just approved, the Senate has just approved new laws that regulate home offices in Mexico, and it also has to do with whether your company can or should pay for your electricity, or they should pay for your internet at home, et cetera, et cetera. This is something that has never been regulated, and has never been regulated in Mexico before. So if you're working from home, this is something that you may want to be interested in. If you have employees working from home, well, brace yourself, because you may now have to pay for your workers' electricity and internet if they're working from home. As for me, I am self-employed, so I don't need to worry about any of this. I get to pay for my own bills. We have not controversial, but, sad news from our Church of Guadalupe. Despite the best efforts that both the church has made and the government has made, that you are not to congregate excessively in the church and pay tribute to the Virgin of Guadalupe, whose birthday is coming up in 2 days. There are some religious groups that have it come into the church and they're doing their dances and their processions and their this, that, and the other. And this is something that is unfortunate because it goes against our best efforts to try to contain the coronavirus pandemic. So it's one of those things in which if I wanted to say happy birthday to the Virgin, I'm probably going to do so from afar. Again, if you want to get to the church, do so thinking of the fact that if you see that there are too many people in there and you feel uncomfortable, simply turn around and walk away. So that's what we have. And then we have something that is a little bit of a news note, a little bit of a commentary that has to do with our mayor Davalos, Arturo Davalos, who began his tenure as a mayor as what was known as a person of the people. And apparently now more and more he is more interested in doing campaigning, political campaigning than anything else. And he is under the scrutiny of the press because he does not, according to this news note, he seems to be more interested in photo ops than doing his job. I am not qualified to comment on this from a very well-informed point of view, but as a news source or somebody that shares news with other people, I've always been baffled at how little information we seem to get from City Hall sometimes when it comes to talking about important developments or guidelines or rules and whatnot. So that's what the paper has to say. Of course, campaigning is going to start soon here in Puerto Vallarta. There's already a number of people that want to consider themselves candidates for this, that, and the other party, and we'll get to that kind of information once it's time to start with the actual campaigning. Let me switch over to the, actually, I see interesting comments here. Let me see. Excuse me. I see. Julie says, I'm having issues seeing comments. I'm not entirely sure what this is about. I have no problem seeing your comments. And Paco, issues with seeing comments without refreshing. Unfortunately, this is something that I have very little control of. If you are referring to the comments that I pop up on the screen, these I pop up myself. This is not a function of Facebook, so I'm not entirely certain why you're having problems, but please let me know. Mustafa, I am so happy that you're here because the next segment right after the weather is all about you. All about you. How fun is that? Anyhow, let me continue with the... Oh, you're not seeing comments. How bizarre. Facebook must be having a something. I wish I could do something about this, but unfortunately it's not within my control. I can see your comments quite well, and I will continue to bring up a few comments on the screen as we always do. Andrea asks, Jamaica Plain, Boston. Paco answers, yes, that was my home for many, many, many years. Let's see. What else do we have? Brad Bradley says, I think that you missed the idea of the statue on the Malecon. Yesterday rained. His body is covered in raindrops and his face was turned upward to feel the hard rain on his face, maybe after a very hot day. Why do you think I missed the idea, Brad? I saw what I saw and I shared it like I saw it. Of course, if I had direct connection with the author of the piece, I would understand exactly what the idea is. But if you don't mind my saying, this is public art and I am able, willing, and happy to interpret it as I see fit. That said, did I look at it closely enough to look at raindrops carved into the body? Actually, I didn't. Why? Because I was busy creating a wonderful video for you. So there you have it. Let's see. Okay, everybody's here. This is the second day for not seeing comments for me. Well, I'm going to bring up the comments as we always do. And I hope that you will be able to see the comments as before. Tommy says, I restarted Facebook and now sees comments. Okay, moving right along. Let's take a quick look at the weather. Brrr, the forecast for Night City is neon-colored rain, says Carrot Weather. It is 26 degrees, feels like 28. Fahrenheit, it's 78 degrees. Humidity is 63%, which is lower than yesterday. This is good to know. And of course, our forecast for today is partly cloudy through the day with a high temperature of 29, low 19. Tomorrow, Friday, same thing, partly cloudy through the day, high temperature of 29, low temperature of 19. And Friday, it's going to get a little colder, partly cloudy through the day with a high temperature of 28, low temperature of 18. So let's continue. Bradley continues to converse about the sculpture. I mentioned yesterday, yeah, of course I didn't see his face. He was really tall. I would have wanted to see his face, but I have seen reproductions of the sculpture here, there, and everywhere on the internet. And I am sure that the sculpture can be purchased in, itty bitty sizes, because that's what sculptures are doing now. Thank you very much for all your comments regarding comments. I hope that you are able to enjoy the program as we always enjoy it. I heard that the Mexican government bought large quantities of the China vaccine. Do you know if this is true? Do you know if the Pfizer and Moderna vaccines will be widely available here, possibly in the private hospitals such as CMQ and Medasys? Just trying to obtain correct info. Douglas, we report on vaccines and things like that on a regular basis. I wonder where you heard what you heard from. It helps us a lot to know the source of your information. Here at Coffee and Headlines, we strive to look at the sources of information to understand and appreciate whether they're credible or not. So I cannot actually comment on your question. I wish I could. What I can tell you is that the Pfizer vaccine is approved technically, and it will be the first vaccine that we're going to have here. The strategy of deployment was discussed yesterday, and I believe 2 days ago. You're welcome to look at the broadcast that we had. We explained how the government will first emphasize the medical population and then also the senior citizens and so forth and so on. So this information we've already shared. I invite you to take a look at the comments and the show notes from the past few programs so that you can find the information that you're looking for. Now, we've done the news, we've done the weather, and now I want to comment on a request that I got from our friend Mustafa. And before I do that, I'm going to mention something that I notice we do so frequently in social media, which has to do with when somebody asks a question, there are answers for that question. Like if I asked you, where can I get a good tacos? The obvious response would be, a number of taco places. But sometimes we answer questions funny. Somebody will say, if I say, where can I get good tacos? If somebody answers, you should eat bread instead, then we're not really answering the question, are we? And I'm sure that there are a lot of psychologists that could give us this exact definition of what I just explained. So many times we want to answer a question and we end up not having the proper answer or wanting to answer differently. And I don't like it when that happens, unfortunately. So what I'm going to do is, unfortunately, I'm going to do exactly that. Somebody asks for a very specific question for which I don't have an answer, and I am going to try to offer other options. And here is the question. Bam. This came from our friend Mustafa. What are the best and reasonably priced shipping services in Mexico? I'm trying to furnish my condo in PV, but prices are way out of the budget. So I'm considering buying furniture in San Diego, then shipping it from Tijuana to PV. Thank you in advance. So that's the question. So the direct answer for that, Mustafa, is that I'm not well versed in shipping services enough to know what is the best alternative for you to ship furniture from another country. I hope that somebody here in the community will be able to answer that question for you from based on past experience. That's my answer. But of course, that got me thinking of who would want to ship furniture from another country. Now, and I'm going to offer some commentary with all due respect, of course. Um, I don't know where your property is in Puerto Vallarta. I don't know where you've been shopping, but there are a couple of things that you may want to consider. Number one, if your property is in Emiliano Zapata, for example, or if you've been shopping locally, you will find that a lot of the prices here in town are very high because a lot of the stores are paying astronomical amounts of money to rent their locales. Locales? Locales. Yes, locales. So the whole idea, personally, the whole idea of shipping an entire apartment's worth of furnishings from another country sounds really expensive to me. I honestly don't know what you would want to do it unless you're looking for something truly specific that you cannot find here. Something else that you may want to keep in mind is, is the furniture that you're trying to import weather friendly, because the weather in Puerto Vallarta may or may not necessarily be the same kind of weather that you will experience up there. So we look at different types of furniture that are better suited for our surroundings. And to that effect, I got in touch with my dear friend Sheryl Novak this morning. And I think Sheryl is around because I saw her commenting. Sheryl has this company called Solutions Mexico, and she sells furniture locally. Her store is not in Puerto Vallarta, it is in the North Shore. And I'm going to give you the address of her website. And one of the reasons why I trust Sheryl is, first of all, we were colleagues when I was the editor of the Tribune briefly this summer. She is in the habit of writing very helpful informational articles on the best types of furniture to look for and so forth and so on. She is a very informed, furniture shop owner. And here she is. I told her, Sheryl, do your thing, share your knowledge with other people. And I see that Mustafa has also shared some information back. My condo is a new construction in Zona Romantica. I spoke to multiple interior designers in PV and was quoted $21,000 all the way up to $37 to furnish a modern one-bedroom, 85 square meter condo. I find that very expensive. Well, yes, of course, if you go through interior designers, you're having to pay for the interior designer. And if you go through whatever interior designers are trying to sell you, that might be a very expensive proposition. Oh my goodness, Sheryl has just opened a store at Constitucion just off Basilio Vadillo. That's great to know. So again, Mustafa, I invite you to look around. I invite you to look around. Oh, you have a meeting with Sheryl today. Oh, that's wonderful. See, there are a lot of options. And now, something else that you may want to consider is going to Guadalajara and going to Tonalá and Tlaquepaque. There are other places in Mexico. So you can actually balance the cost of shipping stuff versus, for example, traveling to a larger city like Guadalajara with somebody that can speak our language if you don't speak Spanish and take care of this locally. Now, I'm not trying to talk you out of I'm not trying to talk you out of bringing your furniture from north of the border, but I am showing you different options to consider. Now, Sheryl, I love and trust, very much so. But in all fairness, she is not the only furniture place that you can consider in town. There are other options. There are many, many, many possibilities. But, and last but not least, if your thought has to do with the fact that you will not find the craftsmanship here that you're used to in the United States. Again, there are many, many different options for you to consider. So I am very happy to see that you are already in touch with Sheryl, and I really, really hope that she is able to provide you with the information and the balanced criteria that you are looking for. If anybody else has other comments, I'd love to see them. Let me see what we have here. Let's see. Gerardo volunteers a company in Monterrey that specializes in this. Thank you very much. Mark Dunn comments that he found a designer. If you are able to connect with one another, that is what Coffee and Headlines is for. That is what this cluster is for. Let's see. Mark continues with wonderful local designers. Stephanie endorses Sheryl as well. Thank you very much. Kathleen says that you ship many things from Chicago. It is very expensive. I think I believe that. And again, when I moved down here from the United States, I didn't ship my furniture, but it's definitely something to consider. You're very welcome. And again, you make my day, Mustafa, because this is what this community is for. It is always wonderful to have this kind of resources. Barbara asks, what about shipping a bicycle? That's a very good question. If you are a bicycle connoisseur, you may find it better to get your fancy Cannondale or Specialized brand or so forth and so on north of the border. But you can also find them down here. I would actually look for that. And again, compare your options. Buddy asks for the name of the camera that I use for the great walks. It's an Insta360 1X. It's charging right, well, I just unplugged it, but it's sitting right here. Insta360 1X. It's a 360-degree camera, which is wonderful. This is what I've been using lately to do my walks. I am pining, wanting to get another camera, but not quite yet. Anyhow, let me see, what else do we have? Oh, interesting. Friends brought furniture from the United States. It was a total nightmare. You have to deal with local importers, deal with customs, took forever and cost a fortune. There you go. So there are all kinds of options for you to consider. I hope that this information is helpful for you to make the decision that is best for you. Moving right along, I'm going to continue with a few other headlines, and let us not forget that we have the weird song of the day. We've been enjoying all kinds of earworms. This song of today is not going to be an earworm, but I found it truly, truly fascinating. But before we go there, you may know that on Wednesday, 48 attorneys general and the Federal Trade Commission filed a lawsuit against Facebook, arguing that the company is a monopoly and that it should be forced to sell off Instagram and WhatsApp. This may or may not be important to you, but if you're at all curious, our friends at Vox have come up with a perfect explainer article. We love it when we can understand these things as explained by Vox. So I'm going to leave this article with you. And now, Raymond, I don't want you to get on my face for this next thing that I'm going to share, but I've always been fascinated about bread making. That said, I've never made bread, but I think it's fascinating how yeast does its magic. And today, Vox shares an article. This is another one of these, has nothing to do with Puerto Vallarta articles that I love. This sourdough recipe takes all day. That's what makes it great. So again, if you are interested in making your own bread, Vox goes at it in their own wonderful explainer style and gives us a tutorial on how to get this done. Of course, if you are like me, it's a lot easier to just walk down to Raymond's beautiful bakery and get a loaf. But if you want to make your home feel warm and smell wonderful, then this might be the way to do it. Something else that caught my attention today, and this again has nothing to do with Puerto Vallarta, is this article from Yahoo News in English about the most mispronounced words of 2020. I'm going to invite you to explore this, and I think we may come back to this article on a Sunday Funday to look at the most commonly mispronounced words in Spanish, at least here in Puerto Vallarta. But I am concerned about doing that because I don't ever want you to feel as though I am teaching you something or forcing you to change your ways. That would never be my intention. A quick look at your final comments before I share the strange song of the day. Let's see. I brought two of my bikes from the US in carrier boxes on a plane. Easy. Also bought a mountain bike here. Also easy. You make me envious, Sean, having been a bicycle rider for so many years, and somehow I never did it here in Puerto Vallarta, and I don't know that I ever will again. But I always enjoy bicycle riding, and I have very fond memories of going all over Boston and suburbs and all over New England on a bicycle. Let's see. Okay, we're there. It's time to share the weird song of the day. And this is more than just a song, dear cluster. This is an actual musical instrument. There is such a thing as a Swedish folktronica band that would be a music ensemble that combines folk music and electronic music. They are called Wintergartan, and they are known for using unconventional instruments, both acoustic and electronic. Now, between 2014 and 2016, Martin Mullen, one of the members of the band, designed and built a music box that uses marbles to play instruments, and I'm going to show it to you. There it is. Check out this unique and wonderful monstrosity. Well, what I'm going to share with you is a video of this machine in action, and it is absolutely fascinating. In fact, I am tempted to just play you a little bit of how this works. Again, I'm going to give you a small segment because we know that YouTube frowns when we share some things from YouTube, but check this out. He starts cranking, and then the machines start moving. And boom. And enough of that. I just wanted to tease you a little bit with it, and I am going to share the link right now. And of course, then I'm going to share it in the show notes as we always do, so that you can enjoy this selection later on today. A quick look at your final comments before we get going. Let's see. The smell of bread baking is wonderful. I wish I could bottle and sell it. I hear you, Raymond. Absolutely. Barbara asks, is there a public pool for lap swimming, or do I just swim in the bay? You can swim in the bay if you want, and there are pools where you can go swimming. There is not an there is a public pool. I don't know exactly where it is located, and a lot of hotels will allow you to go and do your swimming if you want to pursue a day pass. As far as a public pool, I can look into this, Barbara. I know there is one, but I don't know what their guidelines are for letting you swim in it. There are a couple of gyms and health clubs that have lap pools as part of their offering. There is one here in the hotel zone, not far from where I live. It's a gym, but they also have a pool where they teach swimming and so forth and so on. So that might be what you are looking for. Let's see. Oh, fantastic. Thank you very much, Logan. Penny Johnson has the rundown on all the local pools, etc., etc. I love this community. Whenever you guys come up with answers for things that I cannot answer myself, you totally make my day. Thank you very much. I love the way Bob Johnson's eyes poked. Thank you very much for the poking eyes, Bob. I love that. And welcome to Coffee and Headlines. As you can see, this is a little bit of a mishmash of information to connect with the destination and also information to keep us amused and entertained. And that's it. I think we're done. Yes, we are done for today. Hooray! Which pools have crocodiles? Michael's really? Seriously? It depends on the kind of crocodile you're referring to, and I'm not going to go there. There's a pool called Mantamar with a lot of crocodiles, but you'd have to be an insider to appreciate that. Um, Anyhow, I'm not going to digress. I'm going to let you know that, as always, I'm having a really wonderful time doing this. And oh my God, it's December. It's almost going to be a year. Well, not until March. But here we are, another Coffee and Headlines, another daily broadcast in which we exchange information and we share tips with one another. That's the best way to go about it. So I really appreciate the fact that you're here, all 121 of you, to share this moment with me and with Luna, who is out over there somewhere. We'll be back tomorrow, of course, as always, with more silly music. And Sunday, as always, is Sunday Fun Day. For those of you that are new, on Sundays we don't talk about formal, serious, sad news. It's all fun and debauchery and silliness and juvenile behavior and farting jokes and everything that you don't really want to hear about, but you do, secretly you do. So between now and then, I wish you a happy day, a wonderful day. Stay happy, stay kind, stay well connected, and stay in touch. And I'll see you again tomorrow. Have an awesome day.